A whole lot more clicking.
More clickers, definitely.
There's a whole lot more clicking when you're doing it.
Click, click, swear, look up at the sky, click, swear.
Broke it.
We'll do all the heavy lifting over here.
Yeah, you guys do it. I appreciate it. Which one not even here?
I don't think we get to say that.
Nothing. That's okay.
There you go.
7 o'clock on the dot, ready to go.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. And I'd like to welcome our viewers. I'm sure we still have lots. And it's 7 p.m. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGuinness, that this meeting be opened at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Before we move forward, I'd like to thank staff and the counselors and their spouses for all the hard work that they did for Canada Day, the cooking the hot dogs, serving the cake, all the games. I thought it was remarkable. Everybody had such a good time. It's a good day that we celebrate Canada Day. We live in such a wonderful country and a great community. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody, to our staff and to the counselors and to all the people that participated. Thank you. And then we'll have moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGuinness, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held June 27, 23 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Is there any disclosure of pecuniary, no, I could never have trouble with that word before. Pecuniary interests. None. Presentations and delegations.
None for this meeting.
Minutes and reports from the municipal committees and boards. But the first one is the planning advisory.
So we haven't had a meeting, but there are several applications for zoning amendments and minor variances that will be coming to a public meeting on July 26th. And then we'll be likely having our regular planning advisory committee meeting in August.
July 26th. Fire department.
Our last meeting was June 6th. We have another one coming up July 25th. We haven't had any recent meetings, but the fire ban was lifted today. So that's
was
the only
lifted
new
today.
news. So we just got to make sure that we're following the regulations and that we're only burning at in the evenings. So 7 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Very good. That'll make a lot of happy people. Recreation and fitness.
We have not had a meeting either. We canceled our July meeting because of Canada Day. So our next one is set for August 14th. We're also doing our first municipal alcohol policy review meeting on the same evening through our rec program. We helped organize the Canada Day celebrations. So, you know, second to your statements as well, just thanks to all the staff and volunteers and everybody that came out. The splash pad is open, has some minor issues with it, but the company that installed it is aware of the issues. So they're looking at ways of fixing it. And the exercise equipment has been quoted that it should be done within about a month or so. The only other news for recreation is that our Bonfield Summer Camp is coming up August 14th, and there's still space available, but we're opening it up to non-residents as well to register now. So if you're a resident of Bonfield and you still want to register, you need to do it fast because it will fill.
And the kayaking, is that full?
Kayaking is full. It's not through our township, it's through my company.
Oh, through your company. Oh,
It's full.
okay, the library. That's
That's
Donna.
Mhm.
And
No meetings for the
no
summer.
meeting, yeah. And the general government, we did have a meeting on June 29th for our budget. And we're having another meeting on July 25th. Police Services Board, we did have a meeting. We discussed what is happening down the road. It looks like we probably will join in with Mattawa, the group east of us. But that's a little bit away so far. Has anybody looked into our provincial ramp? What's happening with that?
Haven't had any correspondence, but I can reach out to them or Nikki, sorry, CAO Kunkel, and see where we're at with that. But I haven't heard anything.
Nothing. Eh?
No.
Because if they are going to appoint someone, they should do it soon.
Yes.
And we did you send the police the change in the speed?
Yes, as
Yeah.
requested, I sent them all the information for the new speed limits, the bylaw, and where which roads would be affected. So they have all that.
Okay, thank you. Emergency management, no meeting. And public works, we had no meeting.
No
Did you
meeting,
have
but
anything?
yeah, I'd like to touch base. I know with the new clear bag bylaw that was put out, I mean, there was a big intake of recycling on last week. So that led to the bins being full. So, thanks to the residents, they're really putting their best foot forward for recycling. So, there's a couple issues, but Manager Carr thought on her feet and acted fast, and she went and bagged the recycling so we could put into the new bins that showed up. So, all in all, the residents are on board with recycling, and I think it's a good thing. I think the bags are doing what they're meant to do, increase recycling. And I think Manager Carr also has changed the landfill around a little bit, so it has a little better flow to it, which will be a positive.
Thank you. Do you have anything, Jason?
I do not, thank you though.
Nothing?
Am I supposed to?
I just wanted to know if you wanted to add to.
No, I'm good, thank you.
You're good? Okay. The question. Where we started that it was July 1st, that's where the recycling was coming in. But I understand that it's at a bit slower pace, right? That you're giving the community the opportunity to go into the clear bags. If they have black bags, they don't throw them out and can't use them. But I think that should be made clear to the people that if you come there with black garbage bags, we're not going to turn you away with them. And that should be clear to the people that are using the clear bags, as well as the people that aren't. That I know that I still have the black bags. I did buy the clear ones, but when you look at the price of them bags,
it only makes sense that you're gonna use up your stock and move forward into a clear garbage bag instead of, you have to use up your stock. I mean,
And I'll just say, I agree with the leeway. I think that there should be time limits to the leeway. What is a reasonable time to use up a stock? And at that point, if you show up with a black garbage bag, it's not as though you have to go away with your garbage. You're just gonna be asked to open your garbage bag
dump it out.
and dump it out,
Okay,
right? So it's not a complete waste of a trip to the landfill. I mean, you're still gonna get rid of your garbage.
I mean, I don't know, like, to me, with the cottagers and residents and using up your stock, I mean, I would think there's gonna be leniency till, January 1st. To me, that's a lot of time to use up your stock and learn the new rules. And then going forth into the new year, then you're still gonna be asked just to go up and dump if you come with a black garbage bag, you're still gonna be asked just to go and dump it so you can. But I mean, you're not gonna be, like, not gonna be turned away.
Did you mean to say January 1st or October 1st?
Well, I would,
Just asking.
I would think January 1st. I mean, but I mean, I don't know what, it was an October 1st we had put,
It's actually September, I believe, but
Yeah.
but I mean, with cottagers and stuff, they're not up here.
I appreciate that. I think we can leave it at the discretion of Manager Card to work with their staff. This is my opinion, work with their
Yeah.
staff to find where we can see that balance and then just,
Madam Mayor, if I may,
pardon?
I just want to say that the attendants have been taught that it's very obvious if a resident comes in with a black bag and they have their recycling as well. We all kind of know it's a bag limit of one, it's not a bag limit, but one bag a week and you have recycling. It's evident to the attendant that yes, they are recycling. We understand you're using up your black bags until you get clear bags. So they understand that if you have recycling, obviously you're with the program, even though you're coming in with a black garbage bag.
Yeah, that's right, but you still see some people are not quite understanding it. And just to make it easier for the staff as well as the people to make sure that they understand what is the process and what do we expect.
And maybe the attendant can speak to it. They're swiping cards anyways, so maybe he can just talk to each person, say, we're moving to clear garbage bags and here's the dates we want to transition to, but
I can tell you personally, I got asked if I had transitioned to clear garbage bags and I confirmed that I had, and they said that's fantastic. So there was an engagement piece from the staff when I was there on the weekend, so that was good.
I wasn't there on the weekend, so.
Okay, very good. As long as it's all clear.
No pun intended.
And then we'll go to the reports from non-municipal committees and boards. Phenom, we haven't had anything.
No.
And North Bay Conservation Authority, Councillor Featherstone.
We had 2 in June and we've canceled July, and we have another one coming up on August 16th. Most of the meetings currently have been in-camera sessions. A lot of it's labor relations and corporate structures and things like that. The only really public thing that has come out of the meetings in the past couple is that they're doing a new boardwalk at Laurier Woods Conservation Area. So they're replacing 2 out of the 3 boardwalk structures.
Very good. The next one is Castle Home. It's not the news, there's news, but not the news that we wanted to hear as far as the city of North Bay. It looks like they don't plan on taking over the operations of the Castle Home. We're going to have a meeting. Chisholm has contacted us with East Ferris, and it looks like that's one of the discussions we'll have. It's about some of the concerns that we have with the 3 municipalities, and Castle Home will be one, although I don't see any changes from where we were at. I'm not sure what you think of CAO Kunkel. What you think about it?
It'll be interesting to see what we have in our discussions with our neighbors is one of the topics we have under the challenges. But the city of North Bay is deciding on the report that's in the agenda tonight. So hopefully there'll be news. Maybe someone will persuade them to actually take over. I don't think the report that we have outlines that there are 5 communities leaving Castle Home. They'll still be responsible or obligated to the capital, but not to the operating. So I think there's still a lot of moving pieces in what is going to be the future of Castle Home.
Bonfield non-profit, and we don't have Donna here. However, we all went to the open house, which was very nice and pretty exciting, I think. I haven't had a tour of the building yet. Yeah, have you?
No.
Has anybody?
No.
We'll invite ourselves over.
That's a good idea. I understand the 10 were filled almost instantly with that. That's what I had come to learn. Forget who told me, but it's looks like there is no problem filling the 10. It looks like there'll be no problem filling the next 10. And I'm sure if we wanted to build more after that, there would be no problem filling that. So just to alleviate any of the concerns that were brought forward previously, clearly this is going to be a great success story for the municipality. So I'm very pleased to see that.
Yeah, it's great for the township.
I don't even think it has to be senior housing. If we had an apartment building with 40 or 50
Absolutely.
apartments, I think we could fill that, right?
I think so as well.
We better get Liz working on another one.
Yeah, it's a great idea. May want to give her the weekend off.
No notice of motions, no introduction and consideration of bylaws and disbursements. Any questions? I'll read it first. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGuinness. The council approves the general accounts for the township of Bonfield as indicated in the disbursement report dated July 11th, 2023, in the amount of $203,609.75. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Oops. Correspondence. I'm a little bit behind here. Okay, the first one is the municipality of North Perth with respect to the vacant building official position. They're calling on the province to assist the municipalities to provide support to municipalities to fill vacant building official positions. Do you want to support that?
I think it's there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know that we need to go through the motions and create the work for staff to have to send it to everybody. So that's my opinion.
I agree.
It's not that I disagree with where they're going with it, but
No support?
right. I guess that's yeah.
Okay. And the right to repair, the next one, that's to do with electronics. Right?
Mhm.
Repairs to electronics and other devices at a fair and reasonable price. What does anyone think of this one?
Again, I would think it's in the same boat as the first one.
We're not supporting that, right?
In principle, but not in resolution.
Okay. Then we come to the short-term rentals. What's your comments on that? And that's to do with the bed and breakfast and are they licensed by the province? Is that what this letter means? That they
I don't know
short-term
what it
rental
is.
brokerage companies, for example, Airbnb and VRBO manage and be responsible for their listings and to compel compliance that the province established the requirement for short-term rental companies to require each rental listing to be registered and to pay an appropriate annual fee that short-term rentals company provide this registry along with the collected fees to the municipality in which they're located.
But aren't we kind of dealing with this right now anyways?
Yeah, my thought is, I'm not sure that I fully agree with taking it, like, this is, I would actually be removing our ability to do.
Right.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
so I
Yeah.
actually don't support this one.
We're gonna not support that one
Right.
for now. Okay. Then we're going to the Public Works Manager report on the request for quotes for 1-ton chassis and dump truck. Any comments?
Not that now that it's clear in the budget, yeah, I have no comment on it.
Okay,
I would just say if there is no alternative of value, being a used option or a, which I understand in this type of equipment, a used option isn't always the best way to go since they get used. And I appreciate the fact that we've explored those options and tested that against value on behalf of the taxpayers. Having done that and being satisfied that new would actually be our best value, having taken a look at the budget now that we've had the context, seeing the full amount within the context of the budget, I'm supportive of moving forward with it.
okay, we have a resolution. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGinnis. Whereas at the regular meeting of council on March 14th, 2023, motion number 18 allowed for the Public Works Manager to tender for a replacement for the 2007 GMC Top Kick before passing a capital budget due to supply and demand issues. And whereas the Public Works Manager issued an RFQ for a 1-ton chassis and lift box. And whereas the RFQ was opened on June 1st, 2023 in public at 1:08 p.m. in the municipal chamber in the presence of Kim Turnbull, office clerk for the Township of Bonfield, and Ann Carr, Public Works Manager for the Township of Bonfield. And whereas one bid was received from Edmunds GM for a 2023 Chevrolet Silverado HD 3500 chassis and lift box for a total of $101,977 plus HST, as well as a 5-year warranty for the cost of $3,139 plus HST, for a total of $105,116 plus HST. Therefore, the Public Works Manager recommends to council to enter into an agreement with Edmunds GM for the purchase, and that the mayor and CAO sign the agreement. Any questions? All in favor? Carried.
And on the other side, there's a blue sticker.
Should that be this date here?
CAO Kunkel can do all that tomorrow.
Okay,
There's one on that side as well. There's not a blue sticker?
Yeah.
On the same page.
Whoops,
I had a
Oh,
sticker
there
on
it
both
is.
sides, but I think it's only one.
I
side.
signed.
Okay, so only
Okay.
one?
It's a one.
Okay,
There's two, you have two stickies on one page.
sorry.
You can sign twice if you like over the same signature.
You can sign this side or that side. Okay. Now we have information. Are there,
Yeah, you just had it. right.
There's no motions for the
no
information.
motion for
No.
the firefighter applications? Any question?
I have a question. So I guess these applicants are from North Bay. So how does that work? If they're not Bonfield residents and they're from North Bay. Are we paying for training and all this for people that, for non-residents? I mean, I appreciate the applications, but it's a lot of money to train. And where are they going? Like, are they just using us for training? It's kind of my question.
So I looked at this as well, and I kind of thought the same thing, but initially I thought if they're from North Bay and we're a volunteer fire department, now we have to wait for these gentlemen to get here from North Bay in an emergency. Like, I assumed that people that were applying were mostly residents or that live very close by. So I don't know the value, and I could be wrong, in having people that are 30 minutes away.
I agree with you. I just, is there a policy or procedure if we give them all this training and they are, basically using us for the training, do they have to pay it back if they leave within a year or 6 months or? Like, I don't know where it's at with the fire department.
If I may. A few things that I did, I looked into what the policy and qualifications are for a volunteer firefighter. I don't know why I'm stumbling on that. But they just need to have a minimum age of 18. It doesn't specify that they need to live in the area, so they can come from North Bay. Even if they do live in Bonfield, they still work in North Bay. So a response, they're still coming from North Bay anyway, because they work there. So they're coming if there's an urgent matter, if there's a fire or something. And some of our firefighters who don't live in Bonfield, they did at one point, but they've just moved, like whether it's to Calvin or to Mattawa. So they're still here. They still want to give the dedicated service to Bonfield. So I haven't seen anything in the policies that say, what happens if someone leaves, even if you train somebody from Bonfield and they can leave, even if they're local, they can still leave once they're trained up. There's new training rules and regulations that are coming into place for 2026. So the training is a lot more extensive. So we can certainly look at those policies.
I would just say to Councilor McInnes's point, I agree. Chances are what they're doing is they're going to get the training and then go get a job in the firefighting field, a paid job in the firefighting field. I would say it would probably make sense to CIO's Kunkel's point is let's trend that between now and when like the training is actually going to extensively get more exponentially greater.
Yes.
So then we can then make a decision, a more informed decision, or are they using us for a springboard into a paid position? And really what value, what's that length of time between we've accepted them, we've trained them, how much service are we getting from them before they move on? Because if we're getting 5 years of service before they can get a paid firefighting position, well then, hey, that's great,
I
right?
agree.
So, but I would want to see that kind of data and trend.
Also, as a council, I just want to be respectful to chief and deputy chief, because I believe the previous council also said we don't need to look at these
Correct.
applications anymore. You have your team and you
That's
have,
100%
bring your people in. So I don't want to micromanage this by any means. I just thought it was weird that both applicants at the same time weren't from this area.
Mhm.
It just raised a flag with me as well.
I agree with that. So I don't know, my opinion would be, like, this is just for information, like it's not for decision by council by any means, but perhaps we could just ask Kunkel to work with the fire department to trend kind of local versus non-local and years of service that we get before they move on. If there's a discrepancy, then we can make a policy from there.
Yeah, what other what are the other municipalities doing? They must have run into the same issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We have been, this is just information, Castle Home Transition Business Case Analysis. That came from the city of North Bay. And North Bay Perry Sound District Health Unit Board, their minutes. And then we've got received information from Northern Ontario Broadband Report 2023. And that's for information. And then
Sorry, I just wanted to make a comment on that they are requesting our residents to test their internet. And based on that, it will help them gain or obtain more funding and grants to bring better internet in the area. So later this week, that information will be posted on the website for our residents to go and test their internet. And the reporting will go to Blue Sky Net.
for the speed.
Yes.
The speed, yeah.
Yeah.
And there'll be a hyperlink on the municipal website that they could click on.
Yes.
Because it's a specific test that you need to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
so all the information will be posted later
Yeah.
this week or early next week.
That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Because I'm looking at the link here and going, oh, I would never get that link correct. So the hyperlink.
What
would
about
be-
the technological challenge here?
I did read that they expect everybody, 100% have high speed 2030. So maybe.
There'll probably be a whole new technology. We won't need it by 20.
By then it won't be high speed.
Yeah.
Okay, the asset management program, and we did receive funding for that. Everybody received the letter, yeah?
Yep.
And the rural and northern physician group agreement complement
Sorry, Your
review.
Worship, before we skip past the asset management. So that's wonderful. We got the funding. Can we just remind council and the public what our process is for our asset management plan moving forward?
That's a report.
So there is a report, I believe it's 2013, for the last asset management plan. So Manager Carr has done a lot of work on collecting the information that we need to put into the new asset management plan. So there's building conditioning studies, the road needs study is almost complete. That's part of it. And then it sets out the priorities on what we need to do for the assets, and we have to future fund it. So there's 5 to 10 year plans to say, here are our priorities in infrastructure, in all of the infrastructure, all the core assets that the municipality goes into this plan. So we need to inventory it all, update all the inventory and the numbers based on new information. And then we have to work with council and staff to create a level of service and then cost out that level of service. So do you want snowbanks removed in town? How often? There's minimum standards for snow removal, and so we need to meet those. Well, what does that mean for cost? So all of that is another component. And then of course, it's capital and operating, because you're going to set those levels of service, and then that's going to be what we need to put in our operating budgets. So there's that financial strategy along with the infrastructure priorities that need to be done over the next 5 to 10 years. But it's a 20-year document. It has to be reviewed every year, updated every 5. And any information we update in the 5-year mark can only be 2 years old. So there's going to be constant upkeep on the assets that we have, what we do. So it's a very complicated and lengthy process. So we have until, with this particular funding to update our core asset plan, we have until March 2024 to have that completed. And through the provincial regulations, we have until July of 2025 to have all assets earmarked and a solid strategic plan for it.
Excellent.
Thank you. And the next one is the rural and northern physician group agreement complement review. And that we have received funding for a second doctor, but not having somewhere to, not having a building, and then we also pretty difficult to bring another doctor in. So, but that's good news that we have received the funding, that the funding is there for a second doctor because there is the need for it. Any new business? Unfinished business? No addendum, confirmatory bylaw. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGuinness. Whereas council deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council from June 27, 2023 to July 11, 2023 be read a first, second, and third time, passed in number 2023-29, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. I think that these are something. There were some of the ones with the.
Yeah.
Just go at the back.
correspondence. And then lastly. Don't need that. There. What time is it?
7:37.
Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGuinness, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:37 PM. Any question? All in favor? Carried. This meeting is adjourned.